Texas guy and a Southern girl moved to Japan. He's Bill, and I'm Carolyn Hancock. We wrote letters home about daily life, our travels, and making new friends. It was a time too precious to forget because, really, haven't we all wished we knew more about our family history? I'll talk about the challenges and the fun in short bites. Join me on the journey. A second grocery shopping day at Sati on Monday, September 12, 1994. A little wiser this time, I walked, pulling my luggage carrier. I bought groceries, strapped them onto the carrier, and wheeled them home. It was still frustrating trying to select frequent use products just by packaging, but at least I could get them home under my own power. There are some weird-looking things to eat in that grocery store. Japan is primarily a cash country, very few charge purchases, and even fewer checks written. How do you pay utilities? At the post office. Just take your bill and enough yen to pay it. No forms, no postage, no extra fee. Easy. You can also send cash, yen, in the mail to pay a bill, registered and insured. Just request a special envelope, which costs 20 cents. The local post office is 2.5 blocks away. I've been up there several times for different purposes, and though no one speaks English, somehow we get the right thing done. And our 2,000-pound shipment comes tomorrow. And it did. Finally, being here a month with so little made me realize that we don't need all this stuff. The kitchen is now full of dishes, pans, containers, things I will use, but have been able to prepare meals without. If I had to do it over, I would bring fewer things and more grocery and toiletry products. American products that you know are good and how to use them. All the books and people who know told us to bring everything we need. Things are so expensive. And they are. But new things can be found on sale, and there is always somebody leaving, trying to sell the stuff or give it away. The apartment leases state that housing must be left as it was before rental. For instance, if a tenant makes any improvement, like adding a shower or air conditioner, he must remove it when moving. Household items must be removed. Any little deviation and deposit will not be returned. Consequently, many people just give things away. We got our 2 small scooters on Tuesday, September 18, 1994. I had planned to ride close by until I got accustomed to the scooter and traffic. But one of Bill's co-workers and his wife got to Yokohama on the 17th. Linda called Monday morning, the 19th, and wanted to meet for lunch. They were at the Breeze Bay, the hotel we stayed at, a 30-minute bus ride. Now, who wants to ride the bus with a bicycle and 2 scooters parked out front? So off I go, and it wasn't bad. A few taxis honked at me, and everybody passed. But it was a good feeling to know I could drive through town and again have some independence. Actually, the scooter's fun. It's apparently not built for speed. When it gets to 40 kilometers, a red speed light blinks and glares. The 2 scooters were one of the best buys we have ever made. They still look nice. The design hasn't changed much on the newer models, and they run great at $200 each. Bill and I have rain suits. He has used his several times. The temperature this morning was pleasantly cool, 2 mornings in a row. Some of the guys at work talk about getting a scooter or motorcycle for transportation. Most of them ride the subway to work. One guy wants a dirt bike, one wants a big cycle. Bill said he told them the 125cc scooter he uses is perfect for these street and traffic conditions, that he wouldn't be caught on one in the States, but here it's small enough to go between lanes of stop traffic on narrow streets, enough power to go up the hills, small enough to park anywhere, comparatively inexpensive. In other words, it's just perfect for here. We had the choice of the company paying for a rental car or giving us $18 a day for transportation. The people with a car not only give up about $550 a month in cash, but also pay about $50 a week in gas. The people using subway or bus and subway get their $18 a day allowance, but pay $5 to $10 a day in fares. Even though the scooters were an initial expense, they were good buys, and we will be able to sell them when we leave for about what we paid. There's a school across the street from the apartment. Little kids. One morning, I saw a dog in the playground and thought, wow, that's unusual. Then a man carrying what I thought was another dog that he just threw down. But it wasn't a dog, it was a sheep. Then I realized there were all sorts of animals there, with more being brought in. He was setting up a petting zoo before the kids got to school. Chickens, rabbits, goat, turkey. Anyway, it was fun to watch them in the mornings. Hats in pinks, greens, yellows, all bobbing around. Two funny things about the school. We see children that look 4 or 5 walking without an adult to school. You know they're going to school because of the colored hat and a kind of uniform backpack. And you see school kids on Saturdays and Sundays in groups, usually in a uniform. Well, it's 11:05 a.m., and I'm going to the post office, then to meet a friend for the Tuesday free concert at City Hall. I went once on a Friday, and the performance was okay, but apparently this Tuesday performance is always outstanding. On Wednesday morning, September 30th, the Voice of America newscaster said there was a very large storm in the Pacific headed toward Tokyo, due to hit Friday or Saturday. Not much information for hurricane, flood, fire, and earthquake-weary Gaijins. That's us. The longer-term resident said something like, it'll probably miss us, or they're usually nothing. Well, Thursday night TV showed reporters trying to stand upright on streets in Osaka, roads and hillsides caving in, high waves splashing over highways, the usual U.S. Coast Guard type of storm weather. But it was all pictorial to us because it was being broadcast in Japanese. That was when I really realized a bilingual TV might be more a necessity than a luxury. CNN weather broadcast is general, so there was no English information available to us. Osaka is pretty far south, but we expected to get some wind and rain. Nothing outside we need to batten down, so we went on to bed, thankfully with the windows closed. The wind woke us up about 3 o'clock. Being on the 4th floor that is long and narrow, kind of jutting out, with windows all around, the wind sounded like hurricane force. I got up to look out. There was very little rain, but treetops were twirling and bending with the wind gusting hard. Even this morning, I don't know whether it was severe in Yokohama, Tokyo. It's noon and the wind is still gusting. But the funny thing, I found while walking Debbie this morning, nothing on ground level blew over, down or away. Bottles on the playground were upright, trash bags on the corner, bicycles standing where they were left. The kind of winds I heard last night in Mobile would pick up boats and planes. But walking on the street, I felt very little air movement. I guess the houses are packed so tight they create a vacuum, 2 or 3 stories high. Just a mystery to me. One of the few things I have not found mentioned in books on living in Japan. And I worried about our scooters being blown around last night. It's funny, I got tickled telling Bill that had this been Mobile and that type of wind predicted, we would have tied down everything outside, bought batteries, food, and gas, and talked about evacuating, not even thinking of staying on the 4th floor of a building. Now, 30 years later, I leave you with my thought for the day. Go for it! Ride that scooter to town! Thanks for listening. Remember to follow me and let your friends know about Letters from Japan. I treasure these memories of Japan and its culture and people. Thanks for listening. We'll keep these stories to about 10 minutes, so come back for the next one.